then the weather will be favorable. If the earth is affectionate, then the grain will be abundant. 36. 8 Diagram Arrays. The Array of Nature. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Humans live in nature, just as fish live in water. Humans originate from nature, live in nature, and return to nature. Without nature, there would be no humans. Without nature, there would be no vast world. Nature is the Buddha. Living in nature is living in the Buddha. To become a Buddha, one must live fully in nature. Humans can transcend everything, but they can never transcend nature. Nature is a characteristic of structure, and structure determines the nature of things. Whatever the structure, there is a corresponding nature. All things have nature. The essence of things is determined by structure, but the characteristics of things are manifested by nature. Different things have different natures. Mountains have mountain-like qualities. Water has water-like qualities. Flowers have flower-like qualities. Medicines have medicinal qualities. Animals have animal-like qualities. Humans have human-like qualities. Buddhas have Buddha-like qualities. And gods have divine qualities. All things possess nature and live in nature. They exist in a limited environment because of nature, thus creating the splendid and orderly world, which is the nature array. Nature is divided into 3 types: innate nature, bestowed nature, and acquired nature. Innate nature is given by the Creator and is the essential attribute of things, belonging wholly to them. Bestowed nature is the characteristics bestowed upon various types of things to differentiate them, belonging to their respective categories. Acquired nature is the habits formed by individual things through the influence of their environment and survival needs, belonging to the individuals themselves. For example, all water in the world shares the common innate nature of water, which belongs to all water bodies. However, seawater, river water, spring water, rainwater, etc., each have different bestowed natures, belonging to their respective categories. Salt water, tea water, medicinal water, tears, etc., acquire habits based on their specific uses, belonging to the individual level. Innate nature refers to the common attributes shared by all. Bestowed nature, inherent nature, refers to the characteristics possessed by a certain category of things, and acquired nature refers to the individuality of a single entity. For instance, let's take flowers as an example. All flowers share a commonality, which is their innate nature. However, flowers are further categorized into different families such as the Asteraceae, daisy family, Liliaceae, lily family, Orchidaceae, orchid family, Cactaceae, cactus family, Araceae, arum family, etc., which is their bestowed, inherent nature. Within the Asteraceae family, there are thousands of varieties like the chrysanthemum, golden daisy, black daisy, pink mini daisy, etc., each with its own individuality, which is their acquired nature. Humans, regardless of who they are, share the common characteristics of humanity, which is their innate nature. However, people of different races, yellow, white, black, have their own unique traits, which are their bestowed natures. Each individual person has their own unique personality, which is their acquired nature. Humans possess both innate nature and their own bestowed and acquired natures. Innate nature is a state of emptiness and elegance without form. It is the nature of Tao. Bestowed nature is a state of differentiation with the Tai Chi. It is the nature of virtue. Acquired nature is a habitual state of adaptation to the environment. It is the nature of reason. Benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trust are all results of acquired nature. How to escape the nature array? In terms of essential attributes, humans cannot escape the nature array because humans themselves are nature and cannot transcend it. To escape the nature array means to overcome acquired habits, discard bestowed characteristics, and restore innate nature. In other words, if humans surpass the rationality of benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trust, abandon the nature of virtue, and return to the nature of Tao, they can be considered to have escaped the nature array. When discussing nature, we must also talk about the nature of 2 sexes and the nature of sexual love. The nature of sexual love is not innate nature or acquired nature, but bestowed nature. Humans are divided into male and female, yin and yang, due to the principles of Tai Chi, all things carry yin yet embrace yang, is also due to the principles of Tai Chi from the perspective of cultivation. Humans can only transcend sexual love and no longer engage in sexual love when they surpass the yin and yang of Tai Chi and return to innate nature to achieve self-harmony. This is the state of Buddhahood and also the state of super-celestial being. Humans come from nature, return to nature, and the path to returning to innate nature, the nature of Tao, is still nature. Only through sex can one return to nature. When yin and yang achieve balance and saturation, one can return to the sea of nature, the innate nature, the nature of Tao. If yin or yang is lacking, there will be imbalance and deficiency, making it difficult to return to the sea of nature, the innate of nature, the nature of Tao. Do not avoid sex. The more you avoid sex, the further you move away from innate nature, the nature of Tao, Buddhahood. 36道八卦阵堕于阵 36 8 diagram arrays, the array of indulgence. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. All humans possess a degree of laziness, seeking comfort and indulgence, even to the point of extravagance and debauchery. Ultimately, when things reach an extreme, they reverse, returning to poverty and humility, completing a cycle of transitioning from poverty to wealth, from wealth back to poverty, from lowliness to nobility, and from nobility back to lowliness. This is the indulgence array. Humans are capable of striving, but when are they most likely to strive? The answer: when they are poor and humble. Humans are capable of falling, but when are they most likely to fall? The answer: when they are rich and noble. 98% of humanity finds it difficult to escape the indulgence array. Examples of those who have not been able to escape the indulgence array, from ancient to modern times, are countless and as vast as the ocean. From the downfall of a prosperous civilization to the decline of a thriving nation, from the prosperity of a family business to the corruption and decadence of a prominent figure. Though the lessons are profound, people still follow one after another. This demonstrates the formidable power of the indulgence array. Without maintaining a clear mind and adhering to one's original intentions, no one can escape the indulgence array. Everyone can introspect. When we make some progress, do we begin to cultivate feelings of pride and complacency? When we become slightly affluent, do we already start to crave enjoyment and comfort? When we receive praise and admiration for our merit from those around us, do we start to feel a bit dizzy and lose our direction? When we attain some status and power, does our inner self no longer remain humble and cautious, but instead reveal arrogance and dominance in our words and actions? With even a little gain, we become arrogant. With a little comfort, we stop striving. With a little accumulation, we become corrupted. With a little elevation, we think we have grasped the truth. Humans are so narrow-minded, so incredible, so hopeless, and so base yet difficult to reform. It is easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but difficult to go from extravagance to frugality, because the indulgence array is at work. During the Three Kingdoms period, Zhou Yu of Eastern Wu planned to lure Liu Bei of Shu into marriage with the luxurious life of Eastern Wu. If not for the superior strategies of Zhuge Liang of Shu, Liu Bei would have fallen into the indulgence array and suffered a setback. During the journey to the west to obtain Buddhist scriptures, if not for the unwavering will of Tang Monk, reaching the holy mountain to obtain the scriptures would have been difficult. Look at the decline of the ancient Roman Empire. After the founding of Rome, the slave-owning class liberated themselves from physical labor through slaves. However, at this time, they were not thinking about the prospects of the republic or the empire, let alone becoming a philosopher king. Instead, they were engrossed in money and power struggles. When the ruling class fell into a situation they could not extricate themselves from, and the elites of the era did not think about problems from a historical perspective, the empire not only lost the driving force to create a new civilization, but also foreshadowed the decline of the empire. The eyes of the rich only focus on gold, and due to their luxurious lifestyles, they are like moldy pockets that have worn out and can no longer hold wisdom, frankness, and loyalty. As the upper-class society continued to decay, with the end of the Republic, a large number of new people, who became rich through commerce, entered the Senate, and the number of aristocrats who were both officials and businessmen increased. Therefore, Political power was drawn into the circulation field from various different channels, and the destruction of the legal system began from here. Columella also said, "We often enjoy excessive banquets. We even use steam baths to make ourselves sweat profusely in order to eliminate the indigestion brought about by overeating every day. After drying our sweaty bodies, we will feel unbearably thirsty and think about banquets again." Looking at the increase in holidays, during the time of Augustus, there were only 66 holidays according to the calendar. This increased to 87 days during Tiberius. In the mid-4th century, it unprecedentedly increased to 175 days. Excessive extravagance in material life consumes resources, corrupts the ruling class, poisons social customs, and fundamentally destroys the spirit on which the Roman Empire was founded and progressed, which is no different from pulling the firewood from under the pot for civilization. If we forget the scene of the fall of ancient Rome due to its ancient age, then we should still remember the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom movement that occurred in China 160 years ago. Why did the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom fall? The answer: because it did not escape the indulgence array. The decline of civilizations, empires, nations, companies, and other phenomena, organizations, and groups is actually the decline of human nature, the result of humans seeking comfort, extravagance, and indulgence. It is an inevitable cycle caused by not escaping the indulgence array. As practitioners who have embarked on the path of the greatest creator, if we do not escape the indulgence array, the end result will still be the abandonment of previous efforts and a return to the cycle. Life Genuine has already created a paradise on earth, the second home, a secluded utopia. Every Life Genuine member should remember their original intentions. The more superior the environment and conditions, the more diligent, thrifty, modest, and cautious one should be. There should be no room for laziness, waste, or extravagance, let alone indulging in comfort and pleasure leading to corruption and decadence. Spiritual and mental enjoyment should be maximized, but material enjoyment should be limited. This limitation cannot be ensured by regulations, but must be maintained by adhering to the values of Life Genuine and each member's voluntary efforts to build their soul garden. If a Life Genuine member is petty about what they eat, selective about where they live, wasteful about what they wear, extravagant about how they travel and communicate, lazy and sloppy in their work, and receives more from the home than they contribute, and does not put effort into improving the non-material structure of their life daily, but instead thinks about freedom and even promiscuity in love and sex, they have already embarked on the path of seeking comfort and falling into corruption and decadence. This is what worries me the most. Without escaping the indulgence array, the beautiful utopia of the second home will be short-lived and eventually fade away, making it difficult to create a beautiful new life model for humanity. Without escaping the indulgence array, we cannot realize the ultimate ideal of going to heaven. How to escape the indulgence array? Apart from adhering to the 800 values for New Era Human and building one's own soul garden as soon as possible, there is no other way. 36道八卦镇定术阵 36 8 diagram arrays. The Array of Destiny. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. The occurrence, development, transition, and extinction of everything and every phenomenon in the world all have a destiny. The Earth's year is 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds. This is a destiny. The mass of the Sun is 1.989 times 10 to the power of 27 tons. The mass of the Earth is approximately 9.89 times 10 to the power of 21 tons, and the mass of the Moon is about 7.35 times 10 to the power of 22 tons. These are also destiny. A person has 2 eyes, 1 mouth, 1 head, and 2 legs. The human body has 206 bones, and the heart beats 2.5 to 3 billion times in a lifetime. The normal pH of the human body is 7.35 to 7.45, and the normal body temperature averages between 36 and 37 degrees Celsius, underarm. Normal blood pressure is 140 millimeters of mercury, 18.6 kilopascals, systolic, and 90 millimeters of mercury, 12 kilopascals, diastolic. There is a specific size, quantity, and distance ratio between each organ in the human body. These are all destinies. Everything has a limit. Exceeding the limit will cause a qualitative change, or in other words, Everything has a certain proportion or degree, and exceeding that proportion or degree will inevitably lead to the opposite. When water is poured into a container, there is definitely a moment when it is full. When eating, there is always a moment when you cannot eat anymore. A camel can only carry a certain weight. Beyond the maximum load, a straw can break the camel's back. A metal rod is very hard, but if continuously struck at a certain fixed point, it will eventually break. Everything has a destiny. This is the law of the universe. Regarding human life, the same law of everything having a destiny also applies. The number of teeth a person should have, the number of hairs, the number of sweat glands are all destinies. When a person is born, when teeth grow, when puberty starts, when aging begins, when death occurs, these are all destinies. It takes 21 days for a chicken to hatch eggs, and humans give birth after 10 months of pregnancy. This is a destiny. We know weather forecasts can predict the weather. This itself proves that everything has a destiny. If there were no destinies, it would be impossible to forecast the weather for the next few days, even impossible for a few hours. Throughout human history, some people have been able to predict the future changes of the world, which also proves that everything has a destiny. Before the discovery of some chemical elements, Mendeleev arranged the periodic table of elements and predicted the existence of other elements that had not yet been discovered. This means that everything has a destiny, a law, and a rule. So, how long a person can live in their lifetime, what diseases they will get, when they will get better or worse, what kind of people they will meet in their lifetime, what conflicts they will have with others, what blessings and sufferings they will experience, what kind of hardships they will endure, and even what kind of work they will do, are all destinies that cannot be escaped. This is also the truth summarized by the ancients. What is meant to be will always find a way. What is not meant to be cannot be forced. Giving everything a certain destiny allows them to grow, decline, change, and transit within a certain destiny, thus maintaining the orderly operation of the world, which is the destiny array. Without the destiny array, the Earth would run out of the solar system, tigers would grow wings, mice would be bigger than cows, people could drink the Pacific Ocean in one gulp, some people would live for tens of thousands of years on Earth, and seasons would not change periodically. The destiny array is a constraint. Confining everything within a certain range, proportion, or degree is the function, value, and significance of the destiny array. If one does not escape the destiny array, as a human, they will inevitably continue to cycle within a certain domain of life. So, how can one escape the destiny array? Grafting apples onto cold-resistant pear trees produced apple pears. A common iron rod becomes magnetic and directional after magnetization. Ordinary iron, when carbon is added, carbonization, becomes alloy steel, greatly improving its strength, hardness, toughness, and plasticity. Saccharin and sweet wine, chestnuts and duck meat, persimmons and crabs, shrimp shells and red dates combined into food become toxic. Morphine, derived from the opium poppy, reacts with acetic anhydride to undergo esterification, resulting in the formation of its diacetyl derivative, which is the notorious drug heroin. When the nature of things changes, their destinies change accordingly. The key to escaping the destiny array is to replace human consciousness with celestial consciousness. After the replacement, the destinies as a human end, and the destinies as a celestial being begin. 36道八卦阵本能阵 36 8-diagram arrays. The array of instinct. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. The innate survival ability that individuals naturally exhibit without any thought, learning, practice, experience, or simulation, according to the program set by the greatest creator, is instinct. Examples include bees making honey, birds building nests, hens hatching eggs, spiders spinning webs, migratory birds migrating, lambs nursing, butterflies emerging from cocoons, mice digging holes, roosters crowing, cats catching mice, doves courting, peach trees blossoming, pear trees bearing fruit, mimosa pudica curling leaves, animals fleeing, and so on. Instinct is the innate ability that the greatest creator bestows upon various levels and types of life to maintain their own survival and reproduction. The process of directing various levels and types of life to instinctively maintain their own survival and reproduction according to a set program is called the instinct array. Humans have three major instincts: physiological instincts, mental instincts, and spiritual instincts. Physiological instinct is the instinct for survival, mainly manifested in the instinctive need to eat, drink, sleep, have sex, and in the instinctive reactions of fear, resistance, and evasion. Mental instinct is the instinct for desire, mainly manifested in the instinctive pursuit of romantic love, friendship, sex, domination, possession, wealth accumulation, elevation, and consolidation of status and reputation. Spiritual instinct is the instinct for eternal life, primarily manifested in the fear of death and the desire for immortality. The lower the level of life, the stronger the instinct. The higher the level of life, the weaker the instinct. Lower-level life forms depend more on instinct for survival, while higher-level life forms rely more on spontaneous ability to live. Bacteria and microorganisms rely entirely on instinct for survival, as do plants. Insects primarily rely on instinct for survival. Animals mainly rely on instinct for survival, but also begin to apply thought, experience, and emotion. Humans rely on both instinct and experience, thinking, emotions, and spontaneous ability to survive and live, while celestial beings rely mainly on spontaneous ability to live, and super-celestial beings completely transcend instinct and rely on self-awareness to live. Instinct serves as both protection and constraint for life. Because of protection, life naturally possesses the ability to survive. Because of constraint, life finds it difficult to transcend its own kind and ascend to a higher level of life. This is the value and significance of the instinct array. Without escaping the instinct array, life finds it difficult to ascend to a higher level of existence. To escape the cycle of one's own life form and become a celestial being living in heaven, one must escape the instinct array set for humans. The weaker the instinct, the farther from humans and closer to celestials one becomes, while the stronger the instinct, the farther from humans and closer to animals. In other words, the less one relies on instinct, the more one can escape the instinct array, while the more one relies on instinct, the more one will be trapped in the instinct array and unable to break free. How to escape the instinct array? Start from the three aspects of physiology, mentality, and spirituality. Physiologically, reduce the need for and pursuit of eating, dressing, living, aging, sickness, and death, and don't put too much effort into these aspects. Stay away from fear, resistance, and escape. Mentally, free oneself from emotional dependence on others. Break free from the constraints and confusion of romantic love and sex. Don't pursue possession. Don't pursue wealth accumulation and social status. And don't seek fame and reputation. Spiritually, don't fear death and don't pursue eternal youth. By doing so, one can escape the instinct array. Next, one should elevate one's thinking ability, letting one's thoughts transition towards visualized thinking, Taiji thinking, formless thinking, and holographic thinking. On one hand, act in accordance with our natures, and on the other hand, consciously create our imagined future. Most importantly, learn from the celestial beings in the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium Celestial Islands continent, imitating their way of thinking and living. Over time, one can escape the instinct array and reach the realm of celestials.
36道八卦阵生死阵
36 8-diagram arrays. The array of life and death. Xiefeng. January 4th, 2011. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Life continues endlessly, revolving ceaselessly, erasing memories of past lives, and reappearing as a new self in specific time and space. With endless hope, all things thriving, life endlessly repeating, dramas unfolding, and ceaseless games. This is the life and death array. Life is a cycle of growth and decline, arising and dwelling, decaying and emptiness. It is constantly renewing and eliminating, scene after scene, act after act. While humans cannot live eternally, the cycle of life and death is eternal. The human soul does not die, yet we believe we will eventually face death. Ahead, there is always a new view. Behind, the scenery gradually fades from the horizon. Like waves, life pushes forward, each wave becoming the next, appearing bright yet dark, dark yet bright. It's an endless journey without an end, a cycle without a conclusion. This is the array of life and death. Arrivals continue, departures never cease. The train of history carries life along tracks without a terminal station, endlessly traversing on ever-changing temporal paths, seeming new yet not old, seeming old yet not new, seeming familiar yet not original, appearing clear yet confusingly inverted. This is the life and death array. Drifting in the river of history, jostling on life's path, sometimes uncertain of the way ahead, sometimes seeing light after darkness, forgetting past grievances, anticipating future joys and sorrows, reluctant but unable to escape, drifting aimlessly with the current or flowing clear with the stream. Just as one ascends a peak, immediately, a canyon follows, different rebirths, the same conclusion. This is the life and death array. Both sorrow and joy, both joy and sorrow, sometimes tragedy, sometimes comedy, sorrow and joy intersect, joy and sorrow alternate, seeming full of hope, yet despair lies at the end. What appears as despair holds hope at its end. With spring and fall they come and go. This is the life and death array. Scenes never ending, paths never fully traversed, hardships never fully consumed, suffering never fully endured, joys never fully enjoyed, calamities never fully borne, anger never fully vented, debts never fully repaid, endless permutations, a human life journey with a beginning and end, relationships entangled, rise and fall, honor and disgrace fluctuate. This is the life and death array. Every person is within the life and death array. Without escaping it, there is no end in sight. Without escaping it, one cannot break free from the 6 realms of reincarnation. Without escaping it, one will suffer the torment of the 5 element cycles. Without escaping it, one can never reach the sacred realm of the celestial land. How to escape the life and death array? Where there is life, there is inevitably death. Where there is death, there is inevitably life. Without birth, there is no death. Without death, there is no birth. Life and death depend on each other, each being the root of the other. Think unconventionally, let your imagination soar. Transform life into death, transform death into life. Only live, never die. Only die, never live. Without birth, without death. Without death, without birth. Die first, then be reborn, living without death. Stay away from inverted dreams. Stay away from illusions. Stay away from the pursuit of possessions. Stay away from the material world. Abandon love and hatred. Abandon closeness and distance. Reject worry and fear. Reject intoxication with life and death. A spark of enlightenment illuminates the vast universe. Without attachment, without hindrance, right and wrong vanish. Honor and disgrace are irrelevant. Flowers bloom and wither without stirring emotions. Clouds gather and disperse without affecting the heart. Without agitation, without worry, without attachment, without restraint. Follow the flow and roam freely. Everything is a game. Only life is real. Treat everything as a game to play. Hold tightly to the greatest Creator's hand. Sever worldly ties and establish celestial bonds.
36道八卦阵智慧阵
36 8 diagram arrays. The Array of Wisdom. Xiefeng. January 12, 2011. Translation edited by Qin Yu. In the vast ocean of Buddhist terminology, there are 2 words that stand out, 2 words that inspire longing, prajna and bodhi. Both of these Buddhist terms are related to wisdom. Defining wisdom is challenging. According to the Xinhua Dictionary, wisdom is defined as the ability to quickly, flexibly, and correctly understand and solve problems. In my view, this definition is superficial and fails to encompass the full meaning and scope of wisdom. Wisdom is the crystallization of knowledge, including experience, but having knowledge does not necessarily equate to wisdom. To elevate abundant knowledge to wisdom, there must be the guidance of spiritual intuition. Without spiritual intuition, wisdom is unattainable. Therefore, if we were to force a definition of wisdom, it would be knowledge plus spirituality equals wisdom. The pinnacle of human wisdom is the Diamond Sutra. The full name of the sutra translated by Kumarajiva is the Vajraketaka Prajnaparamita Sutra, while the version translated by Xuanzang is the Vajraketaka Prajnaparamita Sutra of Cutting Through to the True. Both versions contain the term prajna. Here, prajna signifies a perfect, complete, absolute wisdom that comprehends both worldly and transcendental phenomena, harmonious and unobstructed, impeccably precise, and fully enlightened. It refers to the wisdom that can comprehend the Tao, realize the Tao, cultivate the Tao, transcend life and death, overcome all worldly thoughts, and attain sainthood. This is not ordinary intelligence. It is a fundamental wisdom pertaining to the essence and origin of metaphysical life. This wisdom is not obtained through thought, but through the wholehearted pursuit of realization involving both body and mind. This wisdom is what we call prajna. In the Diamond Sutra, the Heart Sutra, and other Buddhist scriptures, mention is made of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. In the second chapter, Subhuti makes a request of the Diamond Sutra. The Buddha states, "Good sons, good daughters who generate the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi should dwell thus, should subdue their minds." In the Heart Sutra, it says, all Buddhas of the three periods, relying on Prajnaparamita, attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. What does Bodhi mean here? Bodhi signifies enlightenment, wisdom, awakening. It refers to the sudden awakening, the sudden understanding, the sudden entry into the path of enlightenment, the sudden realization of truth, reaching the realm beyond the ordinary. Bodhi is the great awakening, the perceiving of one's nature, the attainment of the ultimate enlightenment, reaching the level of nirvana. From the above, we know that wisdom can be divided into three levels: low-level wisdom, middle-level wisdom, and high-level wisdom. The ability to quickly and flexibly understand things and solve problems constitutes low-level wisdom. For example, two brothers carrying a large box each while traveling, feeling tired. The elder brother ingeniously buys a pole to carry both boxes on his shoulders, and the two brothers took turns to carry the two boxes, making the journey easier. This is wisdom. Another example is the wisdom demonstrated by Chao Chong weighing the elephant and Archimedes determining the purity of the gold crown for the king. Middle-level wisdom involves understanding, realizing, and attaining Tao, and in the end liberating oneself from the samsara of reincarnations, overcoming all worldly thoughts and attaining sainthood, as seen in the wisdom of bodhisattvas like Avalokitesvara. High-level wisdom entails the great awakening, the perceiving of one's nature, the complete unity with Tao, and the ultimate nirvana, as exemplified by the wisdom of the Buddha Shakyamuni. The highest realm of wisdom is the absence of wisdom, or what can be called holographic wisdom. Giving people appropriate free will, then allowing them to use wisdom to create a more comfortable life and state of mind in the vast ocean and sky of nature to satisfy various desires and greed, thereby maintaining an interesting and effective interpretation of the cosmic script, is called the wisdom array. Sun Wukong had 72 transformations but couldn't escape the palm of the Tathagata Buddha. Wisdom is a splendid thing, and humans cannot do without it. However, wisdom is also a devourer of time if not handled properly. Playing with wisdom poorly can lead to the squandering of life and bring endless harm. Weapons like atomic bombs, which destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, are the crystallization of human wisdom. Did Einstein have wisdom? What did he accomplish in his lifetime? What substantive value and significance did his wisdom bring to his own life and existence? Not to mention us ordinary mortals. A lifetime devoted to the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom is the most contrary to the principles of nature, the misdirection and tragedy of life. The highest realm of wisdom is the absence of wisdom, or holographic wisdom, which is a wisdom that humans will forever find difficult to understand, comprehend, and attain. Therefore, as humans, we must both play with wisdom and escape from it. We must never be ensnared by wisdom, intoxicated by wisdom, and ultimately devoured by wisdom. The clever are tricked by their own cleverness. Wisdom can devour those who wield it. Therefore, Jesus warns us to become like children. Therefore, the Buddha warns us to discard the raft after crossing the river. Therefore, Laozi teaches us to return to simplicity, to return to infancy. Therefore, the Saint Muhammad admonishes us to escape the boundaries of heaven and earth with the help of authority, meaning that without relying on the power of authority and relying solely on one's own wisdom, one will never escape the cycle of samsara of the three realms. So, How do we escape the wisdom array? After much deliberation, I have finally come to the conclusion that the method to escape the wisdom array is: keep the greatest creator in your heart, always keep your consciousness clear and agile, and then take things as they are, associate with others by following naturally come-and-go relations, act in accordance with our natures, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. 人生宝典，守信是高级生命的品质。Trustworthiness is the quality of high-level life. Xiefeng, June 14, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Care. Credit is the invisible wealth in a person's life. If it goes bankrupt, then the level of their life declines. To measure whether a person's life is at a high level, just look at their credibility. If they are trustworthy, then their life must be at a high level. If they are not, then it must be at a low level. We can judge a person's future accurately from the level of their trustworthiness. If a country's leader does not keep his word, then that country will fall into decline. If the leader of an enterprise fails to keep his promises, then that company will go bankrupt eventually. If an individual does not keep their word, then they will play many small tricks and can never be trusted throughout their lifetime. When associating with people, we should first determine whether they are trustworthy. If they break their promise only once, then we should not trust them any longer, because a leopard cannot change its spots, and this person will definitely disappoint you a second, third, and every time. In our lives, we can afford to lose anything but our credit. Once that is lost, our value will be totally lost. Therefore, it is better to lose everything, including your life, than to lose your credit, because once you lose that, you will never have much chance of going to heaven. How a person's quality is does not depend on their ability, wisdom, wealth, or status, let alone their looks. It depends on their trustworthiness. If they do not keep their promises, then their quality must be poor. If they stick to their credit, then their quality must be excellent. High-level life must be trustworthy life, but low-level life must be untrustworthy life. If a person is not trustworthy, then their life quality is inferior to that of a dog. Therefore, trustworthiness is one's first line of defense in life, and once it is broken, then their life will collapse across the board. 一切恰好与你相配. Everything just matches you. Xiefeng, November 8, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Care. Your current situation is the manifestation of the quality of your life. I have observed the states of life on earth and in heaven and hell, and have found that everything is appropriate, with neither rewards nor punishments, and that what you receive now is what you are pursuing, and is being caused by what you have said and done in the past. Divine punishments, though slow, are always sure, with big meshes, yet letting nothing slip through. The law of causality always works perfectly. Do not ask for anything, because it will not be given to you that way. Ultimate Tao cannot be attained by active pursuit. The only feasible way to achieve your wish is to match the quality of your life with the things you aspire to. If you want to go to heaven, then burning incense and kowtowing to worship the Buddha every day, giving master alms of money, real estate, or gifts will not help. Even if you have built many monasteries and preached the scriptures to many people, or have gained magical powers through self-cultivation, none of these things will help you to achieve your goal. The only way to do that is to match the quality of your life with life in heaven. When matched, gods and demons cannot block your way. If not matched, the most noble and authoritative people cannot help you. Do not resent anyone, because you have brought all of those people who you resent to yourself, and resentment can only make your life more miserable. Do not say that the law of heaven is unjust. It is fair, but it is your own heart that is unjust. What one has created will return to themselves intact. If you create beauty, then beauty will come back to you. If you create ugliness, then ugliness will stick with you. If you have not seen the image of heaven clearly, if you do not understand the life state of the life in hell, and if you do not understand the books without words, then do not preach to others. What you preach is nothing more than the principles of being a human being, and those preaching cannot sublimate and ascend people to heaven. So from the perspective of a higher level of life, you are doing evil. The more you preach, the thicker and stronger the evil barriers that you create will become. The theory of flies is never suitable for bees to obey, and the theory of sheep cannot stop the wolf from eating you, no matter how profound and correct your theory is. In the human world, apart from the teachings of Jesus, Shakyamuni, Lao Tzu, Muhammad, PBUH, and Bodhidharma. No one has ever spoken much truth, so if you think that your own quality, wisdom, and spirituality have surpassed gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings, you can preach as much as you like. If not, closing your mouth is tantamount to accumulating blessings for yourself. Otherwise, the more you preach, the more harm you will do. Do not defend your wrong words and deeds because the more you defend them, the more unreasonable you will appear. Never imagine that your wrong words and deeds can be hidden. The hidden things are displayed to their fullest in heaven, which God see clearly. The only way you can correct them is to repent, and repent more. Do not expect to get something without paying. If you gain much without paying, please do not be complacent. It is speeding you to hell. If you want to go to heaven without creating beautiful things in this world, I want to tell you that it is your delusion. You should never forget this story. On the afternoon of August 26, 2016, Yang Galen poisoned her 4 young children and then herself. Soon after, her husband followed suit. In light of this story, if you still think that years of stability are good, that my country is amazing, that the 21st century will be the century of the Chinese people, and still think that the Chinese nation will lead the world, then let me tell you that you are continuing to create Yang Galen situations. You are the culprit responsible for what happened to her family. You should think about the helpless and hopelessly poor people in the world every day. If you do not have compassion or mercy and do not want to do something for them, but feel that they deserve what they have and think about yourself all day long, then you are not qualified to enjoy a good life and your soul is not worthy of heaven. I am warning you again, do not pursue magical power, qigong, magical law, or Taoist magical arts. Otherwise, 9 out of 10 of you will be possessed by the devil, lose your balance, and become schizophrenic because magical power and Taoist magic arts will corrupt the program of the world. Let us listen to the teachings of Christ Jesus again. Those who recognize the world find a walking corpse, but those who find the walking corpse transcend the world.
一丝不挂者将与我融为一体。
The naked will be one with me. Xiefeng, November 7, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Care. You should always show your beauty to the outside world because when you show your troubles, pain, misfortune, melancholy, resentment, and your other ugly sides, you will not be beautiful, but rather ugly. When all people show their beauty outwardly, the world will become more beautiful. When they show their ugliness outwardly, it will become more ugly. Beauty attracts beauty and ugliness attracts ugliness. Passive, negative, and pessimistic emotions will only attract more people, things, and events of the latter. Do not expect the garbage from your mouth to attract phoenixes. When God comes to you, be naked. The more magnanimous and naked you are, the more you will be favored and protected by God. When you hide something, you cannot be one with God, and God will stay away from you. When God approaches you, be only grateful. God knows your needs. The less you ask for, the more your needs will be satisfied. The more you ask for, the less they will be satisfied. When God comes to you and tells you which way to go, but you ignore and do not abide, then you will never be guided again. You should learn to surrender yourself. When you meet God, surrender everything you have completely, which is full integration. Full integration is oneness with God, unification with God, and you will also become a God. If you try to hide anything in the face of God, thinking that it will not be known, then you are the stupidest person in the world, because God knows everything. The most beautiful things are for the most beautiful people, and the ugliest things are for the ugliest people, but do not beg for beautiful things. Instead, make yourself beautiful. When you are beautiful, beautiful things will naturally come to you. Whatever happens, you should first consider what you can give. In this way, you are connected with the sacred and noble. At that moment, if you consider what you can get first, then you are united with lowliness and you will never be noble. There are no worries or pains in heaven. If you have worries and pains, then you have nothing to do with heaven and you will never reach it. There is no marriage in heaven. Once you marry, never expect to reach heaven. You should learn how to play and amuse yourself, and do not talk about great principles all day. The more you talk about great principles, the more you will be hung in the air and will not taste the joy and happiness on the ground, nor will you taste the delicacies in heaven. Do not preach to others the truth that you do not understand. It is all rubbish. Where there is light, there is no darkness. So if you feel darkness, it is because you are not living in light. Do not doubt that the ones who bring you joy, happiness, freedom, and blessings, and make you feel relaxed and happy are angels from heaven. The ones who bring you troubles, pain, anxiety, sorrow, and fear, and make you feel sad and anxious are demons from hell. Anything that can be valued and bought with money is not of heaven, and anyone who values money is not a life worthy of heaven. In any group, do not stand out for your exceptionality or make yourself conspicuous, or that group will eventually abandon you. Glamour belongs to celebrities, but real happiness belongs to ordinary people with great wisdom but who appear slow-witted. Do not try to reason with people who do not understand reason, or try to make cats and mice get along well as a family. Do not believe that anyone can help all sentient beings before they can handle their own affairs well. Either they are digging a trap for you, or they are out of their mind. Instead of listening to what people say, it is better to see what they do. What comes out of their mouth might deceive others, but what they do will not.
让心中的神灯照亮黑暗中的道路。
Let the sacred lamp in your heart illuminate your road in the dark. Xiefeng, November 8, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Care. When you despair and are in extreme darkness, anger and shouting are both useless. It is only by lighting the sacred lamp in your heart that you can illuminate your direction and walk from your mud of despair. The sacred lamp in your heart is your firm belief and faith. If your belief and faith collapse from fear, then you will be swallowed by darkness. When darkness begins to shroud, if you consider your own gains and losses and give up the belief and faith that you have always adhered to, then you will be in the dark. From then on, your soul will have darkened, and it will be a problem for you to wash away that stain. The darker the hour, the more you need to shine. If you wander, hesitate, or even wink at the darkness for self-protection, you might never be able to re-enter the light. Do not approach or surrender to lies, falsehoods, fraud, or hegemony in order to survive. You must adhere to the principle of taking facts as the basis and law as the criterion. Do not listen to the clamor of the media or gossip. Even if people all over the world are lying and cheating, it is supported by heads of government around the world, and celebrities and the well-to-do from everywhere are in high spirits for it. You should keep your bottom line in position. If you die, you should die on the way to the purest land instead of living on the grand road to hell. Your strength might be very weak and you might not be able to change the overall situation, but at least you should not become an accomplice of the darkness by shouting for it. In order to survive, you could keep silent, but never collaborate with it. If you do not know the facts, keep silent but do not jump to conclusions based on hearsay. Otherwise, when the facts eventually surface, you will regret it and be ashamed. In fact, the light has never been absent, the bank of justice has never closed down, the devil has never defeated God, and the consciences of many people have never vanished. People holding torches advance in succession. Even if it is temporarily shrouded in darkness, you must have the confidence to wait for the day when light will shine across the earth. God looks at everyone's performance from the sky and is choosing which lives will go to heaven. You must remember this soberly, and do not do wrong once, and you will never hear the end of it. You should know that power, material, prestige, media, and public opinion do not represent light. Only those who can make the people of the world live and work in peace and contentment, but never seek their own interests, represent light. If you do not see the light around you, then become it. This is how you will be glorified and lifted up to heaven, and from then on you will never experience death again. Do not have a fluky mind and think that some of your secrets can be hidden. What we say and do can never be really hidden, not even our innermost thoughts. People cannot see hidden things, but the detention information space records everything without omission, and God knows every action and thought of all people very well. People can deceive each other, but they can never deceive God. The darkness will pass and the sun will rise again.
美好人生是由自己信任的人们构成的。
A beautiful life is composed of people whom you trust. Xiefeng, March 28, 2024. Translation edited by Qin Yu. If you have 100 people you can completely trust, then your life is the most beautiful, regardless of whether you are rich, powerful, or famous. If you don't have a single person worthy of complete trust, then your life is the most pitiful, no matter how wealthy or powerful you may be. Complete trust means you are willing to entrust your life to them, willing to take on any responsibility and obligation for them, willing to hand over your wealth to them without any doubt, and willing to share your innermost secrets with them without fear of being harmed. So, how many people do you have that you can completely trust? I thought to myself, in secular society, if a person has 3 to 5 people they can completely trust throughout their lifetime, it is already quite remarkable. Just imagine, the more people you completely trust, the larger your world feels, the more secure you feel, the happier you are, and the more optimistic, confident, and romantic you become. Conversely, if you have few or no people you completely trust, you may feel anxious, perceive constant threats, feel helpless, be pessimistic about the future, and view life